Tombstone on 4K Blu-ray. Here's my review and a giveaway of this extra copy. It's time for you to skin that smoke wagon and go to work watching this review. So stay tuned for a little bit later in this video. I'll be explaining how to win. So I think this movie has such good staying power. First, because of the dialogue and the characters, and second, because of the action. So even though there is a ton of awesome action in here, I think it's actually the most memorable because of the dialogue and the characters. This animated menu reminds me of the DVD days. Like, look at that. I feel like DVDs used to have really fun, interactive, moving menus. I love that Kurt Russell's introduction as Wyatt Earp is after Michael Biehn quotes the Bible.
Revelations. Behold, a pale horse. The man who sat on him was death. And hell followed with him.
And it leads to our first glimpse. Look at that. Look at that manly man, Kurt Russell. Look at that awesome mustache. I just think that's the coolest intro where it's like the Bible verse leading right to our hero. Now, a quick note about the 4K versus the older Blu-ray. So the 4K is absolutely a noticeable difference in detail and color accuracy. The color just feels a lot more accurate, and the skin tones actually look like human beings. Now, this is not one of the most sharp looking 4Ks, but what I like about it is I feel like I am looking at what was filmed for this movie. For example, not all of the scenes are in perfect focus, and some of the low lighting scenes don't have the best focus, and that's not a fault of the 4K, that's just us seeing clearly what was on the film. Being totally honest with you, I did not notice a difference between this DTS 5.1 HD Master Audio and the same named track on the Blu-ray. But they both sound great. So noticeable upgrade, absolutely. Is it worth the price of the Steelbook? That depends on how big of a fan of the movie you are. If this is one of your absolute favorite movies, then absolutely go for it. But if you're kind of a casual fan, honestly, the Blu-ray is totally watchable. I know there's some visual faults on it and stuff, but you can totally get lost in the story and it still looks good. It doesn't look amazing, but it looks good.
Maddie.
Pleased to meet you, Maddie.
I think this is interesting how early in this movie, like once you meet all the Earp brothers' wives, how early they establish that Wyatt Earp's wife has like a total drug addiction. She's so fidgety, she's like an addict. You could see it in her. Right here though.
Madam, did you say you need some laudanum?
Yes, I did. Yes.
I have some right here.
Oh, you're like...
Anyway, they're really trying to paint the case very early on that this is not who you want him to be with.
Bailey, you look like just about ready to burst.
This movie has several split diopter shots.
I suppose I'm deranged.
Like this one right here. And this is definitely a callback to spaghetti westerns. Like these that definitely use a lot of the same kind of cinematography. A lot of these beautiful scenery shots really stand out on the 4K, and I think this is where you see the difference between the Blu-ray and the 4K, and is in a lot of these awesome, like, long-distance nature shots.
Go ahead, skin it. Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
Listen, mister, I'm getting
Such a cool line for draw your gun.
Gas, now jerk that pistol and go to work.
Here's one of the best one-liners ever.
You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed?
That is a gorgeous man right there. Boop. This is so funny after Wyatt Earp totally humiliated this guy and slapped him. And, you know, this guy was like ruining the business at this place and basically harassing all the customers. So right from the beginning, when you see Wyatt Earp like defending this horse that's getting beat and slapping this guy out of the Oriental, yeah, it's to get himself into business, but like you get to see like the sense of justice that these guys have. But I love this part because this guy goes and gets a shotgun, and then Doc Holliday just totally disarms it. But I love that they all just start talking to each other, and then what happens after he's standing there for a little bit.
Doc?
Where you going with that shotgun?
I didn't know you was back in town.
Well, all these buddies just standing there talking. He realizes who it is. They're just talking together.
This is for ourselves, Doc. Well, the sucking
It's
fuck
just
the time,
standing right
the
there.
odds are all on the house.
Depends on how you...
Oh. Johnny, I apologize. I forgot you were there. Let me go now.
That's so degrading.
Just leave that shotgun.
That's so degrading. He knew he was standing right there. They're sitting there having a conversation while he's 5 feet away. So it's lines like that and the way these characters act and talk that one just makes you want to watch them the whole time they're on screen, but it just makes you want to like be with them. Like Doc Holliday, just the way he talks, like you just want him on the screen all the time. But then it shows Wyatt Earp at the same time, Kurt Russell, and it's the same thing. Like every one of these characters, even like Michael being one of the bad guys, like you just want to watch all the characters. And that's what I meant at the beginning, where the dialogue and the characters, in my opinion, are like a higher reason this movie is so enduring. And yes, the action is awesome, but I think, like I said, the dialogue and the characters are better. Random, but kind of like the first X-Men movie from 2000, the action's okay, but it's the dialogue and the characters that make that specific movie last. I love this introduction of Billy Zane and the eventual love interest for a bunch of reasons, one of which I just barely noticed right now. So Billy Zane hops out of the wagon, very flamboyantly, and then he holds his hand up. And he's reaching for her hand, but she hands him a bag, and look at his face when it's a bag and not her hand. It's so funny. You see that? The reveal.
Nice scenery.
Double take from Kurt Russell. And I love what Billy Zane says about Kurt Russell right here.
Interesting little scene. I wonder who that tall drink of water is.
My dear, you have such a gaze upon the quintessential frontier type. Note the lean silhouette. Eyes closed by the sun, as sharp as a hawk. He's got the look of both predator and prey.
I want one.
So I actually, on my Tombstone on 4K announcement video, this person, Sandcat731, they said, Tombstone is legendary. I noticed traits in yourself that I see in many a Tombstone fan. A lean silhouette, eyes closed by the sun, though sharp as a hawk. You've got a look of predator and prey, the quintessential frontier type. That's kind of an odd thing to say, but I think I'm flattered because they say that about Kurt Russell. So I'm not making any comparisons here, but I just was flattered by that comment, so I figured I'd share it. I actually like this kind of dialogue in movies.
You look up and you think God made all of that, but still remembered to make a little speck like me. Kind of flattering, really. Wyatt, do you believe in God?
Direct question.
No, come on, really, do you?
Yeah, maybe. Hell, I don't know.
Well, what do you think happens when you die?
Something. Nothing. Hell, I don't know.
Anyway, I know that he goes on to kind of like bust his bubble there, but I really like when movies ask you these questions like what happens when you die, why are we here, like that make you think that way. I like when movies make me as the audience feel that way, but I also like when the characters discuss that because I think it's important to discuss. And I have my answers to those things, and so I like to see what answers the movies come up with or the way that they ask me those questions. So I typically do not like movies that have any kind of infidelity or cheating or anything. But there's a couple examples where a relationship happens before the marriage is terminated in a movie that I'm okay with, but generally I'm super not okay with it. This movie, I think, is one of them because now I wouldn't do what he's doing here and being like alone with this lady and basically going on a horse ride together. Like I wouldn't be comfortable with that. But as far as like the movie goes, I think it's interesting that
For now.
all of their relationship
Oh,
is
I know, don't say it. I'm wrong.
like they're going out of their way to show that they're like far away. I mean, they do sit on a blanket together and talk, but like to just show that they're far away from each other, like there's no touching or anything. And again, like I said, I wouldn't do that, like be alone with another female that's not my wife. But as far as the movie goes, it's like plutonic, even though there's definitely some tension there. In addition to the fact that his wife is like a total drug addict and is just getting further and further and further down that. So it kind of makes this more okay. And then the other movie that I think I'm okay with that is, I haven't seen it in a while, is The Artist. But for the most part in movies, I absolutely do not like extramarital stuff, or it just kills movies for me when it's in there. I love this one-liner right here.
You die first, get it? Your friends might get me in a rush, but not before I make your head into a canoe. You understand?
Head into a canoe. That is very visceral imagery. And every time I see this guy, I can only think of him in the TV show Wings. So it's hard to imagine him as a serious bad guy. So with how rough and tough these good guys are, particularly Wyatt Earp, I do really like how he is portrayed as like ultra masculine. And yet when it comes to killing, he does not enjoy it. He does not want to do it. And he's not happy that he had to do it before. And I really like this conversation right here.
Those years I worked those cow towns, I was only ever mixed up in one shooting. Just one. But a man lost his life and I took it. You don't know how that feels, Morgan.
And here comes an amazing
Believe me, boy,
split
you don't
diopter
ever wanna
shot.
know. Not ever.
Check it out. Right there. So cool. I love this shot so much. This is such a movie trailer shot right here. And in 4K, one of my favorite things about 4K HDR is how good fire looks and how more like fire it looks. Like you can see more details in the fire than you can on like a Blu-ray, for example. So like I said, I really like how the heroes deal with the killing. Like it reminds me of Kirk in original Star Trek, where he's good at violence, but he does not want to do it. And he's not happy about it and does not enjoy it, but he's good at it. And so same thing with these Earp brothers, like they are good at it, but they don't like it. And I really, this scene on the porch with these guys is very, very short, but I just really like how it shows it. Like the thing they did, yeah, it was heroic. They killed bad guys, but they're not like gloating in it. And I'll just show you this part here.
You're right. It's nothing like I thought. I almost wish it.
I know, Morgan. I know. Me too.
So that was his first kill, and he was about to say, I almost wish I hadn't done it or whatever. And he says, I know, me too. And I just think that's really powerful because it shows these strong masculine people who are really good at violence, who do not take joy in it. And I just love that as an example. As opposed to the very opening scene of the whole movie with the cowboys where they're killing people for fun. I just really like that it sets it apart. Like masculinity that's too far, like you could say toxic, or this kind of masculinity, which I think is the good kind that we should seek for and encourage. And that is very much lacking in our modern movies. I love this theme of friendship in this movie as well. Doc being there for Wyatt Earp, which you see throughout the whole thing. But this guy is going to ask him why he's doing it.
Doc, sorry to be in bed. What the hell are you doing this for anyway?
Wyatt Earp is my friend.
Aw.
Hell, I got lots of friends.
I don't.
Beautiful. Now I really like all the montages of killing in this, but I think the more powerful violent scenes are ones that are more like story-based and face-to-face instead of just like riding around and just showing them shooting, which is really neat. But during one of these killing montages is probably the coolest part, where he shoots from hanging down behind a horse. Check it out. There you go. Okay, right here. He's hiding behind the horse for cover. That's pretty cool. I like fun horsemanship action in movies. I feel like The Mask of Zorro has a lot of that. I think this is such a powerful final line from a friend to a friend right here.
Thanks for always being there, Doc.
Oh. Hit my mic. Totally killed the mood by hitting the mic with the remote, but that is such an amazing thing to say and for it to be true. And I think that's just like the definition of friendship and love, is being there for somebody. All right. Well, I am a huge fan of this movie. I did not actually watch it until probably the last, I don't know, 5 years-ish. And so I didn't quite grow up with it like a lot of people did. So I don't have like the nostalgia factor, but I always wanted to see it and finally got around to seeing the Blu-ray and then upgraded to the 4K. So I think it's worth the upgrade if it's one of your favorite movies. Now, I am going to interject here with me talking about how to win this extra copy. I had the chance to get an extra copy. I know this is really sold out or hard to find. And so I figured I should do a giveaway because I am coming up on 3,000 subscribers. Enjoy the giveaway instructions and some beautiful scenery. All right, here is what you're gonna do if you want to enter to win this extra 4K copy of Tombstone. So you've got to go watch 3 of my other videos and leave 3 comments leave a comment on each one, and then come back to this video and let me know which 3 videos that you watched and commented on. And of the people that do that, I will do a random drawing, and then I will reply to your comment if you won on the 4th of July, 2025. This contest is available worldwide. So if you win, I will ship it to you wherever you live. Good luck, and I'll be watching for your comments. One more thing about the contest. Your YouTube account needs to be at least 1 year old. So I don't want anyone making fake accounts here. Hopefully I don't have to mention that, but yeah, your account has to be at least 1 year old. Are you gonna skin that smoke wagon and subscribe? Or are you just gonna stand there and bleed?